Good afternoon, February 15th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. I'm joined by my co-host here Monday and Tuesday afternoon, Mr. Big Marcel. I should say it's Tuesday evening for you, technically, Marcel. What time is it there? It's 11 p.m. or 10 p.m.? What time is it?
Yeah, it's 11. Yeah.
11 p.m. So Marcel's a trooper, guys. I mean, he stays up late to do this with us, and we love doing this every Tuesday, the breakdown show. So, of course, you guys were here with us yesterday. We recapped UFC 271, and that's over and done with, Marcel. Now move on to the next card, UFC Vegas 48, Marcel. So, you know, obviously compared to last week's card, I mean, it's just night and day when you think about it. Let's be completely honest, guys. Like, it's not the greatest card, but there are some pretty good fights on it, I think. You know, I watch every fight. Marcel watches every fight. We all watch every fight. So we're going to break them all down for you guys. But obviously, it doesn't have the same star power the last week had. Having said that, there are some fun fights in this card. And, Marcel, I do think there's some guys that I want to put some money on, to bet on, because I think there's some value on some guys here, guys. So looking forward to talking about it. We got Hype MMA in the chat. What's going on, man? We got Tristan here. No worries, Tristan. You missed yesterday. No problem, man. Go back and watch if you missed it. And you got Joe in the chat. What's up, Joe? So looking forward to breaking down these fights with you, Marcel. I set it up, Marcel, just your thoughts on the card overall.
Yeah, man. I have something on my eyebrow. I don't know. The card overall. Yeah, not really starstruck, I think. But there are some good fights on it, man. I think they are really smart with the opener of the main card with Buckley against Al-Assad. You know, I think that's a very smart placement. Overall, I mean, I'm happy for Dawkins. He has a co-main event, but don't think Pickett should have a co-main event. But no disrespect to the guy. Yeah, I mean, we watch it. You know, we are not that difficult as people like, oh, I'm not gonna watch this card because this and that. We just watch it. Yeah. And but yeah, I mean, if you have low expectations from a card, it can only be better normally. So you know,
yeah, that's how I feel about this one. I'm looking at it like, you know, there's some good fights, but you know, it's not the most exciting card. But I mean, it feels like it could be one of those cards again that surprises us, right? I hate to say it because it feels like when you say like, oh, these cards that, you know, don't look great on paper, surprise, but oftentimes they do. It's just I'd like to see, you know, more like better quality fights. Having said that, I mean, after last week's card was stacked, right? So let's be fair, you know. Go ahead.
You know, it's funny, man, that I know I forgot what I wanted to say. There was something I would say was funny. Oh yeah, Bellator is at the same time, but I think
that's the I hate that. I hate it. What do you think?
The UFC will still draw more views, but maybe Bellator is kind of lucky that the UFC card is done at like.
Bro, have you seen the Bellator card? It's not very good either. Let's be honest. It's even worse, guys. So, anyways, I don't think this card's like terrible, but it's not the best card. Let's be honest. The main event is sick. The main card looks good. Some of the prelims, you know, like Lynn says, there's a lot of inexperienced fighters on this card, and lately there has been in the UFC a lot of contender series guys. We'll talk about this. I'm not trying to shit in the card before we preview it. I mean, I spent quite a bit of time, you know, looking at these fights and researching them. So, I mean, I want to watch the card and stuff. But, you know, you compare it to a pay-per-view, or when you come off of pay-per-view, Marcel, it's hard to like compare to it, right? So let's just break it down, guys. Let's start with the first fight of the card. And the bout order switched like yesterday night or something after some. I know Marcel's shaking his head because you had to redo the whole art, right?
Also, the thing is, we are at Eurosports. We have like the main card, you know, and the featured prelim. You know, so when they keep switching that featured prelim, the how do you say that, the draft books we're making, they have to do over and over again. You know, so it's really annoying when they switch this featured prelim the whole damn time. And like last week when we had everything ready for Moicano against Phillips on the main card, those idiots went with Hernandez Moicano last minute. So everything had to be redone again on last minute. It's so stupid, man. I don't get it. But yeah, whatever.
No doubt. But you know what? Let's just get into the card, Marcel. Yeah. We'll have some fun breaking down these fights anyways. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, let's start it off with it is Joe. Joe mentioned it's at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, I prefer the early start because you'll be done at 10 o'clock, right? I got a kid, guys. It's brutal watching the baby's great. I love my baby. She's actually a quiet baby, but she has to sleep, right? So the pay-per-views, when they go to 1 a.m., it's not easy with the kid because she stays in my room, right? So it's not easy, but I made her watch the Adesanya fight last week. She had to stay up and watch that one. But I'm just saying, when it's 10 p.m., honestly works better for me at this point, the ending time. Yeah, we'll talk about that fight in a second. And what's up, Alex? Glad to have you here. All right, start the first fight, Marcel, work our way up. Chad Allenger, Canadian guy, taking on Jessie Strada, first fight of the night. And the odds for this one, and Allenger is a pretty big favorite here, Marcel. He is minus 250, plus 210 for Jessie Strada. So go ahead, give your thoughts.
Yeah, I saw a fun stat that Angel. How do you say that? Chad
Angel. Chad Allenger. Yeah, it's a weird last name. Okay. Yeah.
I just said chat. I saw that chat has the what was it? Reach. His reach was shorter than every woman on the card. So I don't know if that's true, but
He has a 64-inch reach. Let me double check with the chicks. Deanna, yeah, it looks like he does have the shortest reach on the card, which 64 inches for a guy. Okay, it's tied with your girl Jessica Rose. They both have 64 inches, so they're tied. Yeah, but it's not good for a guy to have 64-inch reach. I mean, it's short, you know. Allenger has 70 inches reach. Go ahead, Marcel, break down the fight.
Yeah, so let's start with Jessie Strada.
Sorry. I mean, Strader has 70 inches and Hellinger 64. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
And let's start with Jessie Strada. I remember you were very high on him when he got signed in the UFC, and I think you picked him against Jackson, right? Or
no. I switched after he missed weight by like a few pounds.
True.
I was thinking. I really was thinking about it, though. I thought he was like plus 500. I'm glad I did. Not that fight because he got destroyed. Go ahead.
Yeah, he did. Although he looked pretty decent, man, on Combate. I give you that, man. You know, and I think he looked good there. But from the first UFC fight, saw a lot of positivities. To be really honest, if you look at Chad and Hallinger, he got a split decision win over Muin Gafarov and Contender Series, which was a questionable win, to be really honest, because I think Gafarov should have got the edge, in my opinion. But hey, who am I? Before that, he has a win over Brady Heathstand, who was in the Ultimate Fighter finale last time out against what's his name again? Ricky Turcios, right? It's a difficult fight, man, to pick, because if you look at Strader, I've seen some good finishes from Strader, man, but he didn't show up at all in his UFC debut, you know. And Hallinger, a little bit of an older guy, I think, finally made it to the UFC, Canadian guy, so I don't want you to get upset with me. I'm really torn on this fight because I'm not sure, but man, I don't know. I'm thinking about giving Strader a second opportunity, man, for some reason, and I'm going with Strader here.
I don't blame you at all. I think the odds are just whack here, and I completely agree with Daniel said. I agree with you, Daniel. He said, you know, anytime you see a guy go from plus 300 to minus 300, which is honestly what it's looking like. There's a book that is minus 290 on Hellinger, so he was like a huge underdog against Gafarov, and honestly, I didn't score for him. I scored it for Gafarov, like that 29-28, I think. Yeah. It was a close fight. I'm not saying it was a terrible decision, but you know, I don't know if he really won the fight. And now he's a big favorite over Strader because, again, recency bias, right? Strader got destroyed by Montel Jackson, but Montel Jackson's a beast, right? So does it really say that Strader sucks? I don't know. I don't think it does. And like I said last year, I mean, you know, my thoughts on this guy don't change. This guy has good striking, man. I mean, you saw Marcel yourself, like. Some of those knockouts he had, guys, in Kambache, the one over that Michael Jackson guy, not the Michael Jackson, and not the Michael Jackson in the UFC, a different Michael Jackson. That was a nice knockout, though. Like, it was a nice one, you know? So he's got some hands, no doubt about it. And it's possible he could catch Anhelger. It's not like Anhelger's this amazing fighter. He's 35 years old. He just made it to the UFC. He's a guy who struggled throughout his career. But, you know, Marcel, here's the thing. If Strader doesn't knock him out in the first round, then I just see him getting tired. I see Anhelger have the better wrestling, the better cardio, and just kind of grinding him out. So that's kind of what I think happens. I think he grinds him out and either wins a decision or a late stoppage. But am I confident? Am I laying minus 250 and Chad Allenger? No. So I kind of feel like the lines is kind of a dog or pass situation, but I'm going to lean towards the favorite a little bit here, Marcel, just to grind it out. But yeah, I don't blame you at all for taking Strader. You know, like I said, I was impressed when I saw it in Kambache, but you know, he hasn't fought since the Jackson fight. I'm not sure how much better he's gotten. Whereas I've actually seen Anhelger at least, you know, pick up a win and go 15 hard, right? So that's kind of why I'm leaning him. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised as well that the UFC signed Anhelger. No disrespect to the guy, but did it show? I mean, they let guys walk away who had better performances. You know what I mean? Yep. And he got it. So I have some feeling like they were like, yeah, it's sad if we don't give it to him right now. And I don't say he's not a good fighter, but I have that feeling a little bit, you know? So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they see something I don't see, but
he's got good conditioning and he's got good wrestling. Like the Brady Heathstand fight, actually, our boy James Lynch, he was there, I think, for that fight. I believe he commentated that fight. There was a few he commentated in his Rise FC promotion. Right? So this guy, he came back and grinded it out and got the finish late. So he's got good cardio, and that's kind of how I feel like he's going to win this fight, by kind of overcoming a tough first round. And like Glenn mentioned, you know, his losses are by submission. Jessie Strada is a knockout guy, right? So I feel like the matchup kind of favors Anhelger. Having said that, though, again, guys, minus 250 on this guy who's unproven at this level is not a great bet, I don't think. So the odds are kind of, saying Strader's, live dog here, I think. I'm just not going to pick him. DraftKings, though, I'd probably pick Strader in a few teams because I think he could pull it off, right? So from a DraftKings perspective, he's going to be one of the bigger underdogs, I would guess, and he could be worth a small punt. Again, Chad Allenger by decision or late TKO is my pick, but it's kind of a weird fight to kick off the card. All right, let's go to the next fight. Diana Balbita against Gloria de Paula Marcel. And this fight is the closest fight in the card, -110 each. Balbita actually opened as a decent favorite, -260. The line's dropped way down. Now it's literally a pick 'em. So flip a coin, and that's how you pick the winner of this one, I guess. Marcel, give your thoughts on this fight, Balbita and de Paula.
Every time I look at Balbita's record, I see her 2 victories over Anna Maria Paul. And Anna Maria Paul is a girl who got famous on the Romanian TV show where she headbutted a guy who she was in a fight with. So, Balbita, I gotta say, she looked pretty good in her last fight against Goldie, man.
It was a good fight.
Yeah, was actually on my birthday, so that's why I can't remember that with. She looked really decent in my opinion. And if you look at de Paula, yeah, I mean, she struggles, man. She has some good stand up, but she got stopped by Cheyenne Vlismas last time out, and also her debut against Jinju Frey wasn't good at all. So I picked her twice now.
So did I. And I'll talk about that in a sec too.
Yeah. She lost twice. I'm not going to pick her a third time, And I think Balbita looked improved in her last fight. I'm taking Balbita here, man. If she can use the same game plan, if she mixes the takedowns, because de Paula can't stop takedowns, she wins this fight. So I'm taking Balbita by decision here.
Yeah, we got Alex in the chat. What's going on, man? And Joe likes Balbita as well. So my thoughts on this one are, I kind of agree with you guys. Here's the thing. Okay, so Balbita is not an amazing wrestler, right? That's the thing. I think de Paula loses to any wrestler that has any sort of decent takedown. Like Jinju Frey is not really a good wrestler, and she still was able to take her down. So anyone who's passable wrestling can beat this girl. Another girl I scouted, and man, her Muay Thai is great. Like even on the Contender Series, Marcel, her Muay Thai looked really good. In the Brazilian regional scene, it looked amazing. And if you look at who she's lost to, they're all UFC fighters, right? So it's like she's kind of got this 5-4 record that's, it's a little bit skewed, I think, because she has fought like decent competition. Having said that, though, Marcel, I think she's looked terrible in the UFC. The Frey fight gets taken down by a small fighter, basically an atom weight, take her down. And the Vlismas fight, I don't understand how you don't wait for the referee to get in between and put their arm in and say stand up. Like, you know what I mean, Marcel? Like, why would you just get up and get kicked in the head like that? That was really stupid. So I worry about the fight IQ, guys. That was really dumb. Like every other fighter I've ever seen waits for the ref to say, okay, stand up. She just got up with her head in the air and got kicked in the face and knocked out, and then brutally finished with elbows on the ground. Not super impressive. Balbita, the Goldie fight was a fun fight, but Marcel, she didn't look amazing in that fight. She got taken down a lot in that fight. The numbers say she got held down for 5 minutes in that fight. She still won the decision though because she did more damage. That's the thing, and that's what it comes down to, right? Go ahead.
I had a 1-3, I think, but I think the judges had even 1-2-3, I think. But
they had a 3-27, but I think I had a 29-28. It was a close fight. It was way closer than the scorecards say. Yeah,
second round for Goldie. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was a close fight. It was a good fight. Anyways, is it a great win? Not really. It's a decent win. I will say, if you look at her regional scene stuff, she was fighting low level competition, but had some nice knockouts. UFC, she struggled with wrestlers, right? That's the wrestling that seems like the issue for her, Marcel, if anything, and the grappling, right? That's what I'm seeing as the issue. Is de Paula this amazing grappler? No. And in fact, I think that Balbita might actually have the grappling advantage somehow in this fight,
exactly.
Right? So if it stays standing, she could be in trouble because de Paula has good striking, okay?
Well, de Paula can't stop taking.
Yeah, it's an MMA fight. That's the thing, right? It's an MMA fight. So I think -260 was a little high at the open, guys. So I can understand why the lines come down, but a pick-em price is a little bit, weird now because I just don't really see why people were debating de Paula. I don't see a lot out of her. So I'm leaning towards Balbita. It's just, again, hard to have confidence in her, but I don't really understand the live movement this much in the other direction, personally.
Can I reply to Andrew?
Which one?
Yeah, the thing is, no. It's not really a great win. I agree with you, man. But the thing is, these two girls are not really high tire girls in the division, and Goldie isn't either. So
Yeah.
you got to look at what they did and how they did it. And I don't think we see any of the two girls soon in any top 10 in this division or
Yeah,
whatever,
I don't think so either.
But this is a good matchup, I think. And for Balbita, the thing that really worries me just is that the Paula can't stop a takedown. If she could stop a takedown, I maybe go with her in this fight, but she can't. So I'm going with Balbita. That's pretty much why.
No, I understand. I completely agree. And also, we should mention the experience. She has 20 fights compared to 9. I mean, that's double the amount of experience. Like you can't ignore that. She's not Canadian, but she trains in Canada too, Marcel. Near about an hour from me in Stony Creek, Ontario. So not too far from here, which is always cool. It's kind of weird. Like they had all those Canadians, like I think 2 weeks ago on that fight on the Vegas card, and then they have a bunch on this card, Allenger and her, right? So.
You almost think that should have been in Canada, right? That card,
yeah, I know. Like maybe one of these cards was supposed to be. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Balbita as well. Again, I'm not really sure why everyone's betting on the Paula. Like the line went for 260 to -110, so huge line movement in this fight. I'm not really seeing it, but at the same time, it's like I'm not like extremely confident in Balbita by any means. Let me get these. Yeah, it could be Daniel for sure. I mean, and then, to be honest, like I'm with Marcel. I mean, me and him. We picked her fights wrong, and we're the first guys to say it. I'm 0-2 in her fights. Balbita, I think I'm 3-0 in her fights somewhere. I'm 3-0 on Balbita. So I got a good read on her, and not so much about DePaul, I guess. But I just thought DePaul was better than what I saw. You know what I mean? Like I just haven't been super impressed. Alex thinks she got caught by Shane. She got caught by Shane to give her a shot. Fair enough. Pressure on DePaula. Yeah, I think she has to win this fight for sure. The Balbita's fight IQ. I think both girls have kind of questionable fight IQ, Marcel. Personally. I think they're both kind of like lower IQ fighters. They're not contenders, Balbita, I think, will win more fights in the UFC, so that's why I'm going to pick her. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Another interesting one. We got. Did the thing change again? The Baudot order change again? Oh my God, it did. It changed again. Baudot order just changed again, guys. I'm not joking. Gabriel Benitez and David Onama is the featured prelim now. Okay, so the Baudot order just changed again, Marcel. I'm not joking. It's on. Go to UFC stats. It literally just changed again. You're going to be so pissed when you see this. You see it? It's all different now, guys. Okay, I just refreshed it. I'm just going to stick with the order that's on Tapology then, because that was the order we were supposed to go to like 30 minutes ago.
Bro, come on.
I know. You got to do the podcast first. Well, I know you have to switch it up, but wait till the show's over. Is that cool?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
okay,
for
cool.
sure.
All right, let's go to the next fight. Chas Skelly and Mark Striegel. All right, so this is an interesting fight. Right now we got Chas Skelly -200, Mark Striegel +170. I should mention Alex Bakunin, who's in the chat, I think still. He mentioned that Chas Skelly is going to retire after this fight. So that's always something that's a red flag, guys. You got to mention that. And I want to get your thoughts on that. I just saw this afternoon, though. So it's just something to think about. We saw with Derek Brunson last week, announces his retirement and then gets knocked out and loses. So it's always something that kind of worries me when a guy does that. We talked about Marcel, like very rarely do the guys that retire announce retirement and then win. It's very rare, I find. Give me your thoughts on this fight, Skelly and Striegel. Interesting fight. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Chas Skelly, scrapper. It's been some time when last time we saw a man in the octagon. Was supposed to fight Rosano. I remember that weird thing that happened with Amherst. It's been since 2019. It's almost 2.5 years since we saw him last time. He won then against Jordan Griffin. Yeah, Skelly, tough guy. Pretty slick on the ground, I think. It's hard to say, it's his last fight. Like you said, he's now fighting Striegel. We saw Striegel only one time in the UFC against Saidnur Magomedov, got brutally knocked out. But I like Striegel, man. I liked him from the other promotions, what I saw. Got a win over Kai Kara France as well. I saw on his record earlier. Yep. The thing is, it's a kind of a red flag to me when a fighter says right before fight night, I'm going to retire after this fight. Because I can't speak for Chas. Maybe it's not true, but is his mind still in it? Is he already thinking about after the fight? I don't know. Striegel needs to get back on track with a loss last time. He needs to win, so he'll be super focused to get that win. I mean, Striegel is not a bad fighter. I'm taking Striegel here, man. I think Striegel's going to win. Got to finish. I don't know, taking him by decision, I think.
All right, that's really interesting. Okay, so my thoughts on this one are, both guys haven't fought in forever. Chas Skelly hasn't fought since UFC Vancouver when Gaethje knocked out Donald Cerrone. That was so long ago, right? A long time ago. Striegel hasn't fought since Said Nurmagomedov knocked him out 2 years ago. So both guys coming in a long layoffs here. So here's my thoughts on this fight. This is a tough one, guys, I think. I think this is a really tough fight to call. I was looking at it yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to sleep on this one because, Skelly's obviously got good submissions and a good ground game, but hasn't fought in forever. Striegel looks okay at times, and then he doesn't look okay at times either. It's weird. Like, he's kind of like he's got good potential, but then he gets destroyed in other fights. So it's kind of weird. When I saw Alex's tweet today saying Skelly's going to retire, it made me really think about this fight some more. So I went and did more tape study on both guys today. Actually, Striegel, I should say, more specifically. Marcel, it's a really close fight, but I am leaning towards Striegel now too, actually, the more I thought about this fight. I'm going to give you guys some reasons why. Number one, Chas Skelly saying he's going to retire is a huge red flag. Number two, he's old. He hasn't fought in 3 years. That's just a red flag. And not only has he not fought in 3 years, he's only fought twice in the last 5 years. So he's not active at all. He's He's had so many injuries. He's had fights where he walked to the cage and then the fight got canceled. He's had these weight cut issues, everything. So there's just so many issues with this guy. Now, Striegel, here's the thing that's interesting. He got destroyed at 135 in his debut, right? Now he's at 145. So my thinking is the durability must have been down for him, because I looked at it through his record, and a lot of his losses are at 135, not at 145. Now, 145 is actually pretty good. So that's what I noticed, Marcel. Maybe, a lot of times you get worried when a guy moves up in weight. You're like, he's going to be too small. In this case, the guy is shorter. He's got the shorter reach and everything, but it might improve his durability, And I look at I can't see Chas Skelly's Instagram at all. Just so you know, it's private, right? So I'm not his friend on there. I can't see it.
Yeah.
I look at Striegel's. The guy looks in fucking sick shape. He's training at the MMA lab. He's training with Mario Batista, who's on this card. He's training with all those guys. Marcel, think of all those bantamweights in that gym. Like, he's training with beasts right now. Mm-hmm. I have to go with Mark Striegel. I have to, guys. At plus 170, he's a dog you have to take, I think, in the spot. Now, more I thought about this fight, because to be honest with you, this is a favorite heavy card, and he's a guy that really, this fight should be a coin flip, I think, Marcel. It really should be a coin flip. I think Skelly could win if he gets in the ground, gets on top, gets a submission, but if he doesn't, I think he's going to be in trouble. And this guy, Striegel, is a decent striker. He has decent grappling. He did submit Kai France. Now, that is a flyweight, to be fair. Let's be honest. But on paper, it's a good win. I just think it's a close fight, and I'll have to take the value at plus 170. So I'm actually really surprised that you're taking Striegel. I had no idea you were going to take him. But for me, it's a pick-em fight. And at plus 170, I'm taking the dog. So that's my thoughts on this one.
Adam, here we have Chas Skelly 3 hours ago. Fight week is finally here. I had a great camp at Sanford MMA, and I'm ready to put on a show. If he wants to stand up, we throw down. If he wants to grapple, we scramble. Should be a lot of fun. I
mean, I like the fact he's training at Sanford, but I don't like what he said there either. Like, he's just he has no game plan. Maybe he's just lying about that. I'm sure the game plan is to grapple this guy, because again, he has lost by submission a few times, but you know what? Like, go watch that fight. It's the Jang Yong Kim. It's on YouTube. It is a sick fight in PXC. It's a sick fight, guys. Go watch it. Back and forth. He gets caught in a leg scissor choke in the third round, but he defended so many submissions. And that Reese McLaren guy in one, that fight was good too. It's also on YouTube. You can watch that fight. Gets caught late, but he's not a bad grappler, I don't think. He just gets caught. Now, against Skelly, that could be in trouble. But again, I feel like this guy can keep it standing, Marcel, and I think he's got the better striking. So, again, it's a competitive fight for sure. I just think it's dogger pass. I agree with you, Tristan. Dogger pass, 50-50 fight. I agree. So, plus 170, I have to take a shot at this guy. I have to, Marcel. You just got to, Again, he didn't look great against Saeed, but, now we're looking at Saeed again. The guy's sick, right? And again, Marcel, he's got 2 fights in 5 years, Skelly. He doesn't fight anymore, He just doesn't fight. And, he barely edged by Jordan Griffin, who's, like, not in the UFC anymore. Technically lost to Bobby Moffett, but bad referee stoppage. And then Jason Knight knocked him out. His last win is 5 years ago against Gritzmacher. So it seems like a guy to fade. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. Now, if he submits him, it wouldn't really surprise me at all. Marcel wouldn't surprise me. So that'd be the way to go. I think if you're going to bet on Skelly, you just might as well just go with him by submission instead, which would be at Skelly by submission. Where is that? It's like plus 150. So there's not really ton value. I'm looking maybe at Striegel by knockout, guys, plus 1,200. I think that could be worth a shot, plus 1,200. Mark Striegel by knockout. How do you think he's going to win the fight, Marcel? You didn't tell me how he would win.
I had a decision, man.
Okay, decision. Let's see what that is. Mark Striegel by decision. Just to take a look at that. Where is this guy? Striegel by decision. Let's take a look. Plus 400. I think that's possible too. But at 1,200, plus 200 guys for a knockout against the guy who's been knocked out, I think it's possible. It's possible. And Tristan, I completely agree. I slept on it last night. And again, when I saw that, the report saying he's retired just made me think about the fight more. I did more tape studies after and did more research, and yeah, the inactivity sucks too. Anyways, that's a dog that looks like we both like the dog. So I'm pleasantly surprised, Marcel. And yeah, all right. The bout order is so different now. I'm so confused what to do now.
with Rose Clark against Egger.
Okay, let's do Jessica Rose Clark against Stephanie Egger. All right, let's go to that fight. So the women, Jessica Rose Clark, Marcel's girl, -185, Egger +160. Your thoughts?
My girl, I don't know. I like her, but my girl.
You love her, dude. You told me, you're like, bro, the tattoos, man. You told me this, bro. Don't lie.
I think she's awesome, man. I think she's awesome. No shame. Yeah, Jessica Rose Clark. Last fight, I mean, she won the fight, but it wasn't really eventful, remember? And she was very critical about that as well herself. After the fight, she's like, I needed to win this one. Before that, the Alpar fight looked really good in that one. I honestly think, man, that Egger. Yeah, I'm just not really high on Egger, man. To be really honest, she fought against Cortez. She got pretty much dominated in that fight, and Adam is clearly laughing about some comments. I haven't watched it yet. So, and then the last fight against Shanna Young. Listen, man, no disrespect to Shanna Young, but I don't see her really as UFC material, man. No. So, yeah, I think Jessica Rose Clark wins again, and she does it for a decision in this one, and probably using her wrestling in this one again.
I completely agree. I think there's good value on here, guys, at -185. Good parlay piece maybe with one other fighter. And then the decision prop is +160. I think that's how she wins too, So yeah, I like Jessica Rose Clark. I completely agree with everything you said, Marcel. I think she just grinds her out, really. I think she's got the bet because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, Egger's wrestling good. And then I'm like, oh wait, Tracy Cortez grinded her out. There's no reason this girl can't either. And to be honest with you, Clark is a better wrestler than Cortez, right? Mm-hmm. I think she is. I think Jessica Rose Clark, guys, honestly is a little underrated. Like she's not the most exciting fighter. The last fight was pretty boring, Marcel, to be honest with you. I think all of us, like she got a lot of criticism for that fight, but she just knows how to win, really. You know what I mean? She knows what to do. So
I think that's also why they put her on the prelims this time,
Yeah, that last fight wasn't good. It really wasn't a good fight, but she won the fight, and now she proved it 4-2. And I think she grinds it out. So I'm completely with you. I agree completely with your breakdown of this fight. I think she's the better wrestler. And we didn't even talk about the striking. She's probably the best striker too. So how does Egger win? I don't think she has a path to victory. Unless she's just that much of a better grappler that we don't know about, which I don't think she is. So yeah, Jessica Rose Clark by decision. I think we both like it a lot. Go into comments. Daniel said he likes Striegel as well. All these guys were laughing about you. Marcel's into the tattoos. Yeah, the sleeves, I think, Marcel. Hey, Clark, what you make girl Edwards? I like Jocelyn too, but I think she's going to do the same thing. Grateful dude likes. Oh yeah, dude, I completely agree. I was thinking about this yesterday, and I go through like the fights, and I do the winners, but I also now I'm starting to do like the method too because it is the second part of breaking down the fight, right? And in my bookies articles, they want me to do props, so now I'm looking at the props a little bit more. And this fight, it was just one right away. I'm like, this fight's going to decision. Now, the odds on that obviously are minus 195. It's not bad, really, because most women fights are like -300-400. So you're getting less than -200 on a fight going decision. I think that's not a bad parlay piece either. But I think for me, I'm just going to go with Clark and maybe by decision at +160. Yeah, Clark by decision. Oh, Jessie grounded pound. You know what, Marcel? Maybe she finishes her. It's possible, right?
It's possible, yeah.
Egger, let me see her losses. I know she got obviously decisioned. Yeah, she's only lost by decision. I think it's going to be a decision, but it's possible Clark could just have that much better cardio and just rain down strikes and finish her. Clark decision. 11 decisions, 12 fights. P break for me. Not a fan. That's hilarious, Glenn. Yeah, I think it's going to be a decision, Glenn. I'm kind of with you. I'll probably change the baby's diaper. I'm just kidding with you guys. I watched them all. Edwards managed to survive Clark's grappling, so logical over. Yeah, I think so too. All right. Next fight, and again, the bout order has switched since we started the podcast, and there was a comment earlier saying that there was a lot of canceled fights. True. However, the bout order switched yesterday, and it switched this morning, and now it switched this afternoon. That's why Marcel's frustrated.
You know what it is, Adam? Maybe when we have Friday and people watching this preview show again, we are still the correct bout order. You never know.
It's possible. It's possible. Okay, so this is actually going to be the feature prelim, which I completely agree with because I think this fight is sick. But from the order we're on, it's the third from the bottom, the top on the prelims. Anyways, Gabriel Benitez against David Onama, and I love this fight. The odds actually open as a pick'em, and right now Onama is -150 and +125 on Benitez. So give me your thoughts on this fight, Marcel.
I actually want to hear your breakdown first because I love this fight as well, but I want to know what you have to say.
For me, this is probably going to be the fight of the night, I would guess. I think this fight's going to be amazing. Personally, I'm very impressed with both guys. Let me start with David Onama. So he's been fighting in FAC promotion, right? That's kind of like the Kansas City Fighting Alliance Championship.
Mhm.
A lot of guys from Kansas City are fighting. A lot of James Krause's guys are fighting this promotion, right, Marcel? And I watched his fights. I remember before the Mason Jones fight, and I was like, man, this guy looks pretty good. Great striking, good grappling. He's good, but again, super green, right? Only 8 fights. Fights Mason Jones. He gets taken down 8 times, but every time he got taken down, he stood right back up and fought for those takedowns so hard. And on the feet, he did more damage in that fight, Marcel. That fight was razor close, guys. And he was like a plus 400 underdog or something. Like he was a massive dog, and almost won that fight. And it was an amazing fight. It was a great fight. I'm surprised they didn't win fight of the night. Actually, looking back, that fight was great. So, despite the loss, that guy's stock went like this, in my opinion. Like it just went right through the roof. I like everything about him that I saw, especially the conditioning. Like this guy seems like a guy that can go 15 hard, and the last 30 seconds of a 3-round fight, he's still trying to knock you out. And that's the difference between him and Gabriel Benitez. Gabriel is a fast starter, right? Great first round, an absolute monster in the first round. We've seen that Justin James fight, Humburo Bande, etc. Like he's had some amazing fights. Marcel, I've been watching this sport a long time. I don't know if you remember The Ultimate Fighter Latin America. I remember watching it on, I think it was on Fight Pass all those years ago. And he was one of the guys that was on the original Ultimate Fighter Latin America. And, he did lose in the finale, I believe, but he came back and he's had a really good career in the UFC. A very good fighter, I think. However, I see a lot of holes in Gabe Benitez's game. The cardio is a hole, I believe. I think he can get knocked out. And, for me, David Onama, after what I saw, I mean, I saw enough from him in that fight to know that this guy's a really good fighter. He's only 27 years old compared to 33 for Benitez. And, in my opinion, Diaz might be a slightly better striker, but it's not that much. And Onama is just a better, overall fighter at this point, the better conditioning, and probably with more durability. He's the younger guy, hasn't taken much damage. I just really like everything about David Onama in this fight, guys. I really do. -1, I have to go with David Onama. I really like him in this fight, Marcel. The odds actually open. Let me double check on the odds. They open at -125 Benitez, +105 Onama. If you took +105 and David Onama is a great bet. I think -150, that's about like the limit I would say for this guy. But I think at that or under, I think it's kind of a bet you have to make because I think he wins this fight. I'm pretty confident in Onama, actually, Marcel. It's surprisingly confident. I just loved what I saw in the Mason Jones fight. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, Marcel. I went first this time. Give me your thoughts on this fight. And let me just get these. Actually, go ahead, and I'll get the comments after. Give me your thoughts.
It's funny when I'm thinking like we probably have this one different and we have this one the same,
Oh, you're picking Onama too? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was really impressed against Mason Jones. He looked really good. Very short notice as well. Fought a weight class up at 155. Now he's fighting at 145 as well. And he had the cardio for 3 rounds, So I was impressed with that. While he actually fought like, I think a week before in that promotion, you were saying that the FAC, I think. So, yeah, man, I'm also on Onama. I think Benitez a great fighter, but, man, Onama showed me he can fight on short notice. He has cardio, and he fought a weight class up actually there. So, yeah, Onama for me also. Yeah.
I love this sport. I love this fight. This fight's going to be fucking amazing, I think, for as long as it lasts, guys. It might not even go to 3 rounds because Onama might finish them. Decision or finish? What are you thinking?
Let's go a little bit crazy. I think I take a finish TKO second round for him.
Yeah, I'm thinking a knockout too. I'm thinking second or third round because I think Benitez, also, we didn't mention this. He's had some weight cutting issues. I hope this fight goes on. I really hope this guy's in miss weight. Remember, he missed weight. I think it was against Jonathan Pierce, I believe. He came in at 150 and they canceled the fight, right? So hope that doesn't happen. Daniel says he's taking Onama. Yeah, the 145 is important. It's FAC to Krause what Ali is to PFL. Kind of, I think. I don't even know. I don't know if James is. He might be involved, like with financially or with the matchmaking. I'm not sure. But it's just a decent promotion in the Midwest right now. Like they're on Fight Pass, they have good fights. Eduardo Dantes, he just fought for them a few weeks ago, right? So
did you hear Eugene Behrman from Israel kind of throwing a little bit of shade to Tim Simpson of Paradigm? He was like saying like Ariel asked him like, is Cannoniers probably next for Israel? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Strickland is more interesting to us. He was like, and he said like, but yeah, I don't know where Tim's loyalty is when it's Strickland against Adesanya, because they're both Paradigm, and also with her.
That's the thing. Like you have to remember that, like the management, if they're in the same team, they're going to try to get their guys the big fight. You know what I mean, Marcel? So obviously can't. I mean, you guys know I'm the biggest Sean Strickland homer in the world, but like Cannonier obviously deserves the next title shot. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
If they give it to Strickland, I wouldn't hate it because I actually think that him and Adesanya, like they would talk a lot of shit leading up to the fight, which would be fun. But Cannonier obviously deserves that title shot. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Bearman even said like we need to get Darren Till a win ASAP so he can leapfrog Sean Strickland and Cannonier.
Too funny, man. Too funny. Bearman's such a troll, though. Honestly, like even before Whitaker got the fight, he was like, "I'm not sure. Maybe someone else will jump him." So he's a troll. All right, let's go to the next fight. Mario Batista against Jay Perrin. Perrin take the fight on super short notice. Marcel, if I'm not mistaken, he's filling in. Who is it again? Who pulled out? Khalid Taha. Yeah, Taha. So we don't have odds for this fight yet. We should mention that. However, obviously Batista, I think, will be the favorite because he did have the full camp and he has more UFC experience. So right now, we don't have odds for this fight. So let me give my thoughts on this fight. I got to be honest with you guys. I completely forgot who Jay Perrin was until someone brought it up on the podcast yesterday. And they're like, "Oh, this guy Khalid Taha is out and Jay Perrin's in." Marcel. I was like, "Who's this guy?" And then I remembered, oh yeah, he had that fight in Contender Series. Went back and watched the fight. He fought Dwight Joseph on Contender Series. It's on Fight Pass. You guys can watch it. I mean, it's a decent fight. He's a decent grappler. You know, the striking's not great. He's kind of an aggressive guy. He walks forward. He's moving forward, which I like about him. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not seeing like a ton here that's like stands out to me, you know, and he's a guy who's been around for a while. He's fought in Bellator for a few times and he lost there in Bellator. He did pick up a few wins. He did look pretty good in the last fight in CES. That's also on Fight Pass. You can watch that fight. So he's got decent grappling and the rear naked choke's really nice. He's going to have to take this fight to the ground. Batista has been submitted. Corey Sandhagen submitted him. You know, but Batista had the full camp. He is training at the lab. We mentioned earlier he's training with Mark Striegel. Both guys phenomenal shape for this fight. Just that whole camp, right? Marcel, like Sean O'Malley, Kyler Phillips, like all those guys, right? It's a good camp, right? Marcel, I would say for that division, right? Pardon?
Benson Henderson.
Benson Henderson. There's a lot of guys. It's just a good camp. Anyways, you know, I went back and watched Batista's fight. So last year I faded it against Trevin Jones. It paid off really handsomely for me, plus 200 in Trevin Jones. So that was a good fade. But looking back at his fights, I mean, the guy's pretty good. You know, he really is. He destroyed Miles Johns. Looked good in that Susan fight. Looked really good. It was a great fight, back and forth war. He seems to have a decent ground game other than the Sandhagen the submission loss, but he was actually doing okay with the wrestling in that fight. You know, I just think this guy can make some improvements. And again, the fact he has 4 fights in the UFC makes me like him more, especially with Perrin coming in on short notice. I don't have the odds for it, guys. So we don't know. I can't say there's going to be value on him because I don't know the odds, but I'm leaning towards Batista. You know, Marcel, I think he probably gets the job done here. Thinking a decision because Perrin does seem really tough to me. I think he kind of outstrikes him on the feet. That's what I'm thinking happens here. What do you think?
Yeah, so we got to take in mind that Perrin was supposed to fight Ashik Ajim on March 4th for the CES promotion, and he was training for a 5-rounder. So because that was for the title, he was the title holder at CES MMA. Yep. So he wasn't training, you know. But on the other hand, he's fighting now against Mario Bautista, which is, I think, a pretty big step up in competition, right? Definitely on short notice. Batista, he lost last time, like you said, against Trevin Jones. But I like the dude, man. I think he has a lot to offer. In the fights against the Jin Susan, right? That was like a small Korean zombie kind of guy. I think the UFC dropped the ball on him by not re-signing him. I don't think he was that bad, you know. He looked good, and he stopped Miles Johns. You know, I was surprised with that. I don't know if you picked him. You might have picked him in that fight. I'm not sure anymore, but he did well, you know. So for me, if Perrin maybe had a better preparation. I know he was preparing for another fight, but this is different, you know. I'm taking Bautista here, probably via. I'm going with decision, man. I'm not going with a stoppage. Going with the decision.
Why was Jinsu Sun cut? He won. Okay, he lost both his fights, but he lost to Peter Yan and Mario Batista. And he won fight of the night in both fights and got cut. That's really weird, right? Like, stupid. Why did they cut this guy? He hasn't fought since then. He hasn't fought in 3 years. I kind of feel bad for the guy, honestly. Like,
and everybody was high on him. I remember
that Peter Yan fight. Remember that first round? I think he won the first round. I was like, holy shit! Like, he's gonna pull off the upset. I remember that fight. Like, anyways, he's not bad. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's, you know, the UFC experience is. If this guy, honestly, guys, you got to think about it like this. If Perrin was that good, he would have been signed already. You know, like, I don't know if he's that good. I don't know if he's UFC level. You know, If he gets him to the ground, he could win the fight by submission, but otherwise, I think he just gets pieced up on the feet. Mario Batista wins this fight. All right, last fight on the prelims, Jonathan Pierce and Christian Rodriguez. Again, the bout order switched since we started doing the podcast earlier in the night, but interesting fight. Christian Rodriguez taking on super short notice. Again, Marcel, another short notice guy, right? Odds for this, minus 340 for Jonathan Pierce, plus 280 Christian Rodriguez. I'll start off with this one too, Marcel. I'll give you your thoughts first. So I got to be honest with you guys. Jonathan Pierce is kind of a weird guy, right? Because he got absolutely destroyed by Joe Loza on his debut. And it's like, wow, how did that happen? And then since then, he's looked fucking incredible against Kai Kamaka and Omar Morales. And the last fight was really impressive, man. Omar Morales is a damn good fighter, and he submitted him. That was a great win. So this guy's made significant improvements since coming to the UFC, right? You can't just look back, and he had some really shitty losses early in his career, Marcel, and you're like, this guy sucks. But he doesn't. He's come back, and he's really improved his game. Another guy at Fight Ready, great camp. He was supposed to fight Austin Lingo on this card. I think that fight, I probably would have won this fight and that fight. And this fight, I got to be honest with you guys. Christian Rodriguez is a guy that really impressed me on Contender Series, right? He missed weight for that fight. That's why he didn't get signed. It's not because he didn't have a good fight. He had a great fight. Dana White chose not to sign because of the weight miss, even though he signed Jake Hadley. But the thing is, this fight's at 145. It's not at 135, Marcel. So this guy's going to be significantly smaller, guys. It's just worth mentioning. He's going to be at a 5-inch height advantage, and the reach is the same, but the 5 inches of height is big. And again, Pierce is a big dude. Like, he fights big, and he can grab you like he did to Kai Kamaka. Just grabbed him, bear hugged him, took him down, and outlasted him. Pierce has the better ground game. He has the better cardio. I think Rodriguez is the better striking, though. So if the fight stays on the feet, Rodriguez has a chance to knock him out. I think he does. And I was really thinking about taking him as a dog, guys. I really was, but I think he's gonna be too small for this division. And also, he did pick up a win recently, but the guy he beat sucks. He's 19 and 37. He sucks. It's not a good win. It doesn't even mean anything. So he picked up a win, but it doesn't mean anything. Marcel, what does being a guy's 19 and 37 mean? Nothing. It really doesn't. Whereas, Pierce just beat Omar fucking Morales, and Omar Morales would be favored, I think, over Christian Rodriguez, wouldn't he? Yeah. So I have to go with Pierce. Having said that, I don't like the odds, minus 340. That's weight. I'm not betting on this guy at minus 340. No, I'm not betting on him. I would not recommend betting on him, but for a straight pick, I think you got to go with Jonathan Pierce here, Marcel, just because he's proven in the UFC at this point, and he's got really good cardio and come back and win in the second, third round. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Pierce, Marcel. Almost all of his wins are by stoppage, so I'm assuming he probably would win by stoppage in this fight, like the second or third round, but Rodriguez is super tough from what I've seen. Maybe can survive, but if not, probably gets submitted. That's what I'm thinking. So give me your thoughts on this fight, man. I like Rodriguez. I just think it's a bad fight for him. What do you think?
Adam is just upset that Rodriguez doesn't have a win against Jay Ellis on his record. But if you guys don't know who Jay Ellis is, look him up. Christian Rodriguez, remember Dana saying, man, when Laura Sanko asked him when he didn't give the contract, if Rodriguez would he get a contract? He was like, yes. I was like, dude, so you give him one guy a contract for not making weight, and the other guy you don't give a contract, and then you say if he made weight, you gave him a contract. Super stupid, double standards. But yeah, whatever. He's in the UFC now. Rufus Sport guy, right? Christian Rodriguez. I like him a lot. I think he's a great fighter. But he will be undersized against Jonathan Pierce, and JSP has looked good besides his debut in the UFC against Lausanne, which shocked me as well. But he got a good win against Kai Kamaka, man, where I didn't pick him. And he got a good win against Omar Morales, where I didn't pick him. Yep. And he got a loss against Joe Lausanne, where I picked him. So
I'm 0-3 in his fights. I'm telling you right now, I'm 0-3 in his UFC fights. So I don't have a great read, but the guy's improved, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with Jonathan Pierce here. So am I going 0-4 now? So
me too.
Yeah, I'm picking Jonathan Pierce, but I'm going with a decision win.
I don't like the odds though, guys. I'll tell you, minus 3. I wouldn't even parlay him. I would pass on this fight completely. That's my thoughts on this one. Podcast needs to put respect to Jay Ellis. All right, let's see here. We got
no disrespect, man. It's just a little bit of bit of banter. That's
for sure. Glenn's saying, by the way, for Son, he thinks that maybe he had to do like mandatory military service. Maybe, possibly, he is a Korean Zombie teammate. Possibly, I don't know. Korean Zombie missed 4 years. Everyone forgets about that. Pierce by sub. Edwards too. So I agree. I'm sorry, not Edwards. He's not talking about Christian Edwards. Like, I know what you're saying. Never mind. That's so funny. He's talking about Rodriguez. Christian Edwards was supposed to fight this weekend. Fight got canceled. Yeah, I agree with. That's what I'm saying. Rodriguez is good, man. I remember his fight. I was like really impressed, but Pierce. Maybe, yeah. The short notice. That's what I'm saying. I don't like GSP minus 340, Tristan. I don't like it either. But I'm gonna have to pick him to win the fight. All right, go to the main card. Joaquin Buckley against Abdul Razak Al-Assad to kick off the main card. Minus 150. Buckley plus 130. Al-Hassan. I mean, Marcel, I'm pretty sure someone's gonna get brutally knocked out. And the thing that's crazy about this is like, so the Chirico knocked out Al-Hassan, and Al-Hassan knocked out the Chirico, and the Chirico knocked out Buckley, and now Buckley's fighting Al-Hassan. So it's like these three guys are just going back and forth. It's so confusing. Anyways, give your thoughts on this fight.
So yeah, the winner probably fighting Chaos Williams. Yeah. I mean, what can you say about it, man? Al-Hassan, it's pretty much written. He came in the UFC, knocked out everybody besides Akhmedov. Went to a split decision, should have been unanimous, to be really honest. Then he had that rape allegation kind of thing that he got. How do you say that? You got to say it correctly because I can't say it in English.
Acquitted.
Yeah, acquitted. He got acquitted from it, and he came back to the UFC. He didn't look like himself anymore, man. Also, we never knew how good his cardio was actually, because the Akhmedov fight was the only fight that went to a 3-rounder, and he had difficulties with his cardio back then. And I remember his fight back against Lazes, where he looked decent the first 3 minutes, but then Lazes took over and his cardio was gone. And after that, the Malkoun out-grappled him, but we see that Malkoun was actually pretty decent last weekend, so, I mean, maybe no shame in that one. Got knocked out against Chaos Williams. So, I mean, if Buckley wins, he needs to fight Chaos Williams, so not Al-Assad. And his recent fight, he knocked out the Kirko, and he really needed that win to stay in the UFC. So that was a great win for him. Buckley, I think, is 3-2 in the UFC. 3 wins by knockout. Knocked out Arroyo, although he had difficulties in that fight last time out. Got that amazing win against Impa. We all remember that one. And he got the win over Jordan Wright. He lost to Kevin Holland in the UFC, and to, you got to help me with this one, which was the other one he lost again?
The Chirico.
Yeah, of course, the head kick. Yeah, the Chirico. Yeah, so, man, I'm honestly, this can go, this is a 50-50 fight to me, This can go both ways. I don't know. I think Al-Hassan might be the underdog in this one. I'm taking the underdog here. I'm going with Abdul Razak Al-Hassan, and I think he knocks him out.
Tristan likes Al-Hassan. I don't think it goes the distance. There's no way. I don't think it does either. Al-Hassan, yeah, another knockout. Al-Hassan. So you guys like Al-Hassan? I mean, I don't blame you. I think it's a close fight, but I'm gonna go with Buckley. Buckley's a guy that he's been impressive, man. He really has been. He's kind of flew under the radar a little bit. The guy's put on great fights. The guy's got huge power. I just think that Al-Hassan could win in the first round, but after that, I think he's in trouble, Marcel. I just feel like he's gonna get tired again. Buckley's almost 10 years younger. Buckley's got the reach advantage in this fight. Buckley, I think, just to me, he's been more impressive lately. I mean, obviously, Al-Assad looked amazing in that last fight. It was only 17 seconds. Like, I don't really know what to take from it.
I fully agree with you, by the way, but I'm taking Al-Assad in the first round.
I don't blame you. It's just, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm still fucking pissed at this guy because of the fight with Lazes, because it's my fault for betting him, but I had a parlay that night with like a bunch of guys like Jack Shore and Calvin Cater and Khamzat Chimaev when he had his debut, and he was the only guy that lost. So I'm still really pissed at him. And then I won back some money when I bet on Chaos Williams, but then I lost again on this guy against Jacob Malkoun. I thought he would win that fight. So the guy's been weird lately, man. But he's definitely got some power. He could win the fight for sure. It's going to be a stand-up fight. So I think, and on the feet, definitely could win. But again, I just worry about this guy's cardio, and the durability seems to be an issue. Both guys. Someone's getting knocked out in this fight. Someone's getting brutally fucking knocked out.
Adam.
Yeah.
For people watching Twitter during fight night. So if Al-Hassan beats Buckley, I'm going to tweet out to Adam, tell me how you really feel, and you know where it's about.
Even though I'm like kind of 50-50 on, like it's like a 55-50 45 lean for me in this fight. So Buckley, but this is a good. I'm glad we kind of got a different pick on this one. It's good to have that. Alex is asking what books to use. So Alex, I work for bookies.com. We have all the sportsbook reviews there, man. Great website, really good resource for checking all the books. So definitely check it out. It has depending on the state you're in, depending on what province you're in, it's all there. Bookies.com is the website I work for. I love it. And great resource. I'm actually starting to write a lot of the sportsbook reviews now. I'm going to be doing a win bet one and sports interaction one and points bet one in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of experience at the sportsbook. I'll just say that. I've had a lot of experience at them. Dirty Reg likes Buckley. Yeah, I think Buckley too. Buckley. Yeah, with this guy too. I mean, it really is kind of like one of those fights that whoever lands kind of first or hardest, you know. But I'm leaning towards Buckley, you know. Just a little bit more impressive than lately. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Jim Miller and Nicholas Baudot. I'll start off this one as well, Marcel. So the odds on this one, Nicholas Baudot is minus 175, Jim Miller plus 155. You know, Nicholas Baudot is a good prospect. You know, he's not bad at all. The guy has got some power. We saw that throughout his career. He looked okay in the Contender Series, but he hasn't fought in 2 years, and he's had all these canceled fights. And all of a sudden, he's a favorite against Jim Miller. I don't understand this line. This line makes no sense to me, guys. And remember, the odds actually, they opened the other way. Jim Miller opened at minus 185, and now it's completely flipped. I don't understand why. I don't get it. This is Jim Miller's 40th fight in the UFC. He's fought everyone in the world. And this is the kind of guy he beats all the time. Eric Gonzalez just destroyed that guy. Same level of prospect, Roosevelt Roberts, etc. Why is Mata minus 175 favorite? I don't understand it at all. Like, I could definitely see an argument if you were taking Mata as an underdog in this fight, saying like, hey, he's got good power, he can, you know, beat Miller. But like, Miller's got good power too, and he's got amazing submissions. And Mata, I watched that fight with Gleico. I know it was a while ago, but the Gleico Franco fight got taken out so easy. The guy's submission defense doesn't look great to me, Marcel. And he's also been knocked out a couple times. Jim Miller, I think, could knock him out. I think he could submit him. So for me, he's got multiple paths to victory. You got Jim Miller here with 40 fights in the UFC against the guy who's making his debut, and Jim Miller's plus 155. You have to take Jim Miller in this fight. You have to take Jim Miller, right? Like, you have to. I'm taking Jim Miller, guys. I think he finishes him. So that's my pick. It's another underdog pick. Jim Miller by submission is kind of the way I'm leaning, plus 350, but I think a knockout is possible at plus 1100. I think it's possible. He just knocked out Gonzalez, and again, Mata's been knocked out a couple times. Go back and watch his fights. You'll see. He's got power himself, but he's kind of like Lewis. Like, you can get clipped on the chin and knocked out too. I just don't understand the odds. I don't agree with these odds. I think it's disrespectful toward Jim Miller, quite frankly, that he's a big underdog against this guy who's never fought in the UFC. I don't get it. And again, the line flipped, so everyone's betting on Mata. I don't see it. Give me your thoughts on this one. I don't get it.
You have to stop scaring me because you say this is 40 fight, this is 39. I wrote a preview about it, and you scared me there for a moment because I thought I made a mistake, but I looked it up. It's a 39 fight. So
this is a 40 fight, isn't it? He already has 39, bro. He's 33-19. It's 33-16. It's on Tapology. You do the website. This is his 40th fight.
Let me see. He's 33-16 and won no contest, right? And when he came in the UFC, he was 11-1.
Yeah.
So we're going to 22-15, right? 22-15. No, man, this is 39.
I mean, on Tapology it says 33-16. But anyways, just give me your pick, Marcel. It's not a big deal. Go ahead.
You should stop scaring me like that.
Well, I'm just saying, you work for Tapology. That's what his record says there. It also says on, we're both wrong. This is actually his 41st fight. Because he's 33-16 and won no contest, but you don't list on Tapology. It's his 41st fight, guys. Anyways, give me your breakdown of the fight first, and then we'll talk about the record after.
No, I mean in the UFC, not the complete.
Oh, yeah, I meant in his career. Sorry, go ahead.
No, okay, yeah, that was the thing.
I'm an idiot, too. I'm doing the math wrong. Sorry, it's his 51st fight. It's 40 fight in the UFC. I'm an idiot. Go ahead. Yeah.
So, okay, cool. We're on the same line,
actually. We're both right.
yeah. But we're also at the fight. Are we on the same line, man? I think it's crazy that they give Jim Miller again a guy in his debut. You know, it's super weird. It's pretty much you give somebody who has the longest or the most fights in the UFC against a guy who's just starting in the UFC. It's just super weird. I also think Jim Miller, he knocked out Eric Gonzalez last time out. He should get, no disrespect to Mata, but he should get a more seasoned guy fighting against him. You know, for Mata, it's a great way to make a first impression, I think, in the UFC, you know, but at the same time, you're fighting Jim Miller, who is a legend in my book, you know, should be a Hall of Famer in the UFC, in my opinion. I mean, I like Mata a lot, but I'm taking Miller here with a submission, probably first or second round. I mean, Miller is looking very decent, man, in his fights, you know, so yeah, I'm taking Miller. I'm with you, Adam. I'm with you.
Yeah, so let me get the comments here. You're right, Miller is 2-3, but you know, here's a lot. The losses were to Selecki, Pichel, and Holt. He got grappled. He didn't get finished by strikes. Mata's just a striker. He doesn't have much grappling, guys. I mean, go watch the fights yourself. His grappling's not great. I agree with you that he's probably better than Gonzalez, but I still don't see why the line flip. I don't get it. Someone tell me why he's minus 175 against Miller. I just don't get it. Again, he could win. He could definitely win. He's got good striking, but it seems really disrespectful for me. I think you just have to bet Jim Miller because I think there's value at plus 150. How could there not be? This is a guy with, like you said, 40. It's his 40th fight, right? In the UFC, 51st fight as a pro. We should mention that. Clear that up. The guy's fought everyone. He's had success against so many good fighters. Yeah, he's had losses in his career, but you're getting him as an underdog price. He's not a favorite. He's not minus 300. He's plus 155. I got to go with it, man. Yeah, he did knock him out. You're right. But that's, again, it's a different fight. He knocked him out. Miller's got power too, guys. He's so underrated on the feet, I think, Marcel. Like he can drop you and then submit you,
I've counted it, Adam. 38 fights so far.
There you go. So there you go. So there you go. Counted it. And then, sorry, I missed a comment here from Andrew earlier. Asked, do we think Buckley's as good as Chaos? I'm not sure. I like Chaos. Again, that was a different weight class. We should mention that. Al-Assad's back at 185. You know what I mean? So, anyways, let's go to the next fight here. We got 3 fights left. Parker Porter against Alan Baudot at heavyweight. Odds for this one: Porter minus 250, plus 210 for Baudot. What's your thoughts?
We were talking about Nicholas Moda, and he just liked the picture on my Instagram. That's what I wanted to show you. I'll
be honest. I like the guy. I do. I just don't think. I think the odds are weird for the fight. So go ahead.
This is like your typical UFC heavyweight fight on the main card that doesn't belong on the main card. So Parker Porter, got to give the guy credit, man. The last 2 fights, he looked very decent. He won his fights against Chase Sherman and against. You got to fill me in here on the blank. I forgot.
Porter, the last, what was the guy's name? Josh Parisian. He out-cardioed him, basically.
Yeah. Well, it was at that moment kind of surprising to me at that moment, but he did very well. Before that one, he lost to Chris Dawkins in his debut. He has a fight against John Jones, man, in 2008, I think. So before John Jones became famous and in the UFC, he fought him. If you look at his opponent, Alan Baudot, I only have bad things about him to say, to be really honest, man. He got a win in a TKO promotion.
We talked about this, didn't we? Talk about it? And the guy that's the rapist, Todd Stout. I remember I brought it up, and we had the whole article. Guys, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not it. How did he get in the UFC off of that?
It's really weird, and he got in the UFC, and he got lucky actually in the UFC that this last fight got overturned in a no contest because he lost that one against Rodrigo Nascimento, who
was like on drugs or something. Like he took like, what did he take? Like it was like a drug or something, wasn't it? Like, let me check what he took. Go, keep talking though.
Yeah, so he got 2 losses for a finish in the UFC against Aspinall Nascimento. Now he comes back. Man, I don't see him winning against Parker Porter, man. I haven't seen anything why I'm like I have to go with this guy. I also think he has only 1 win against a positive guy with a positive record on this record. So it's just a really weird matchup. I'm taking Porter here. I'm actually thinking about maybe taking him via stoppage, but I'm going with the decision.
And what he took was acid. I mean, it's so weird, right? Like, he tested positive for rhinolenic acid, a metabolite of psychostimulant drugs, methylphenidate and ethylphenidate. I don't even know how to say those words, to be honest with you. But it wasn't like steroids. He was taking like drugs of abuse. It's so weird. Like, it's just really strange that it, you know what I mean? Like, guy was partying hard, apparently, I guess. But those look terrible in the UFC. I think he looked awful. Porter's looked really good other than the Daukaus fight. He's really surprised me. The guy, Marcel, for like let's be honest, I mean, I'm not one to talk because I'm a big guy myself, but let's be honest, he's a chubby dude and somehow has amazing cardio, go 15 minutes easily in these fights. It's crazy. If his chin holds up, he wins the fight for sure. It's possible Baudot could clip him, but I'm not seeing it. I think Porter wins. My question is, do you win by decision or finish? I think he could finish him, Marcel, late in the fight. That's what I think. Baudot's going to get tired, I think, and get finished. So that's my thoughts. Daniel says Porter's a logical pick. I did Baudot's not good. Gon's teammate, yeah, that's true. It's probably like a team, like a part of the contract negotiation, like with Jacob Malkoun and Whitaker, Blood Diamond, and Asani, etc. Go ahead.
By the way, look at my fucking lighting, man. I when I put my phone here, you remember, it got much more light. Do you see it? Really
I see
weird.
it.
I
It's
didn't do
good.
anything with it.
It's good. All right, we got a couple more fights left, just two more. Co-main event: Kyle Daukaus versus Jamie Pickett. It's at. You guys got to fix this on Tapology. It's at 195 pounds. Actually, it's a catchweight fight. It says 185 on Tapology, just so you know.
Right.
You can fix that.
I actually changed that, man, the other day. They changed that back.
Someone fixed it, but it is a catchweight on UFC stats. It is listed officially as a catchweight fight. Jamie Pickett took the fight at short notice. Julian Marquez was supposed to fight Dawkins, which obviously would have been a better fight. I'll break this down. I'll break this down first quickly, Marcel. I'm just not high on Jamie Pickett, guys. Like, I've been wrong about him in the last few fights. He definitely looked okay against Joseph Holmes, but I'm still not impressed with this guy. I mean, I just think he's a very, very average fighter in every single way. Whereas I look at Dawkins and at least he does something really good. I mean, he's got great grappling, and he got completely, well, I wouldn't say he got screwed because it was a headbutt, but the way that fight ended with Dan Merglia seeing the headbutt, not calling the timeout, the clash of heads, I should say, it wasn't intentional, but just a really weird fight. And again, Marcel, if Holland came back and won, that he would have kept the win, but Dawkins gets a no contest. He had no way to win. Like, it was just it was a lose-lose situation. So, I think the guy's decent, good grappling, very tough. I just think he's probably going to just grind out Jamie Pickett. I honestly feel like it's going to be kind of a boring fight. I don't really like this fight. I can't believe it's co-main event. I feel like Dawkins will just push him against the fence for 3 rounds. That's what I think is going to happen, Marcel. Dawkins by decision is my pick here, but don't like this fight. I think it's a boring fight. What do you think, Marcel?
Yeah, as we spoke, I changed it on Topology, so it's good now. Yeah, I feel the same way, man. I think Dawkins can implement his ground game to Pickett. Pickett, look, the best he looked so far in the UFC against Joseph Holmes, and I still wasn't really impressed. So, yeah, Dawkins. I think Dawkins has a much higher ceiling. He's 1-2 in the UFC, but we got to give him credit. The Brandon Allen fight was competitive at a certain moment, and the fight against Phil Haas, he lost that one, but wasn't that bad. He got one win in the UFC so far against Stoltzfus. Yeah, I'm taking Dawkins here as well. Probably via decision. Maybe he can even finish him in a submission,
Maybe a submission too. Yeah, he's got good submissions, right? It's possible, but I think Pickett's decent defensive wrestling, man. I mean, it's not bad. I just can't believe this is a co-main event. I mean, I just think it's a bad fight for the co-main event, guys.
Super weird, yeah.
I would have rather Onama and Big I think is a great prelim main event, but I think Jim Miller should have been the co-main event. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, I think that would have been
out of respect, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would have made more sense. Anyway, that's my thoughts. At the end of the day, the Baudot is just Baudot. Kristen said he bet on Pickett last time, won, not this time. This guy likes Pickett. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think highly of the guy. So maybe I'll be wrong about him again, but I think Dawkins grinds him out. All right, main event time, Marcel. Johnny Walker versus Jamahal Hill. Minus 250 for Jamahal Hill, plus 210 for Johnny Walker. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to take a gamble here, man. Johnny Walker hasn't looked good lately. Let's be honest. In his last four fights, he lost 3 times, and the one he won, he actually won with illegal strikes to the back of the head of Ryan Spann.
Mm-hmm.
That's still what I think. The thing is, I feel like Johnny Walker has something to prove. I know he went to SBG Ireland, not a big fan of that one, but hey, he does what he has to do. If you look at Jamahal Hill, got that loss against Paul Craig, came back, looked great against Crute, knocked him out. So actually his momentum is with him, and I should go with him. But for some reason, I think Walker is going to go to his old ways, going to go crazy, and he lands something stupid in the first round, and he knocks Jamahal Hill out. If that doesn't happen, Jamahal Hill wins the fight. But I'm going with Walker for the upset in the first round.
I think the odds are kind of heavy, right? Like, minus 250 seems heavy. Like, Jamahal Hill's, I mean, the guy's a great striker, no doubt about it. And I'm favoring Jamahal Hill. I'm just saying, like, the more I'm thinking about this one too, the odds seem heavy. Johnny Walker plus 210. I mean, he definitely could win the fight. He's got power, right? But I just have not been impressed with him lately, Marcel. I think the move to Ireland is just not a good move for his career. The one win recently he had was against Ryan Spann, and he got dropped twice, and the back of the head punches to win the fight. I mean, it wasn't impressive. He almost beat Thiago Santos, though. You know what I mean, guys? Like, just say he won that last round, then he would have won that fight and would have been top 5 in the world, right? So it's interesting. You know what I mean? I'm just not sure what to make of Johnny Walker anymore. I remember a few years ago, I was so high on this guy. When I went to Brazil in 2019, I remember I told you, Marcel, I got to have dinner with him. Aaron Bronstetter was there as well. We got to meet Johnny and Lucas, who was his manager at the time. Awesome guy. And I remember talking to Johnny. He was like, yeah, I'm coming for the belt. And this was after he knocked out Misha. But 6 months later, he got destroyed by Corey Anderson. He's never recovered since that fight, I don't think, personally. So I just have a hard time picking him against a guy like Hill who's looked like other than the Paul Craig fight where he got taken, he just fought dumb and got destroyed. Other than that, he's looked really good. I mean, the guy's striking good, and I just think he's probably the cleaner striker, But it's a stand-up fight. I wouldn't be shocked if Walker caught him, Marcel. I'm going to tell you that right now. So I can understand why you're picking him, but I still got to go with Jamahal Hill. I've been more impressed with him lately, and what have you done for me lately for me in this fight? So go through these comments. Joe likes Jamahal Hill by knockout. That's what I'm thinking. Raw Festival, it's going with Walker by knockout. There you go. He's saying Walker's fought. Yeah, I agree with that completely. Don't have any of these guys SBG. That's what I'm worried about too. Glenn. I think the training's a bad training camp for him. Go ahead.
Do you remember that heavyweight guy? I think A Pelt at Team Alpha Male was also like. Are there any big guys at Team Alpha Male? I don't know. Remember that? Yeah.
Also, guys, it's not Thiago Silva. It's Thiago Santos. Thiago Silva's not in the UFC anymore. They're talking about Thiago, the guy that used to do that. Remember that dude? That guy was so scary back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I mean, it should be a good fight for as long as I don't think this fight goes the distance. I know that last fight went the distance for Walker, but I don't think Hill's gonna play like safe like Santos did. I think he'll go for the finish, and it's a big fight for Jamahal Hill. He wins this fight, he's top 10 in the world. Remember, people are probably forgetting Johnny Walker's actually ranked number 10. He's ranked higher, so that's why I'm saying it's a little weird when the guy's ranked higher is such a big underdog, honestly. But I could kind of see why. I just think the odds are getting a little inflated. Like I'm seeing minus 300 hanging out there, guys. That's high. That is high. Overall, on this card, I mean, we did have two consensus underdogs, Marcel, Mark Striegel and Jim Miller. So that is definitely worth noting, guys. If you're going to bet these fights, me and Marcel did pick two consensus dogs. Marcel also picked Al-Assad and Walker as a dog. So Marcel likes some dogs in this fight.
Crazy, right? I'm not known for that.
You're not a dog guy at all. You're usually the guy that picks the favorites, right? But that's cool. And I think that the ones you picked, absolutely, they're both knockout artists. They have a chance to win.
Yeah.
Am I giving Walker too much credit for being able to slow down the fight to focus on countering? It's possible for sure. Overall, I mean, the last fight was boring, but like when you think about it, it went 25 minutes. Like that's kind of an improvement in a way, right? In some way. This guy's asking about Nicholas Stolze. I thought he got cut.
That's what I heard as well, but I'm not sure.
I think he got cut. I thought because Jared Goodin's also cut. He knocked him out, right? So. Anyways, overall, I mean, looking forward to this card. Again, not the greatest UFC card, obviously, guys, but we do see some value on some dogs here. And overall, I mean, there should be some fun fights. We are over the hour here, so we usually end at an hour. I'm gonna go for 5 more minutes, Marcel. We'll do Bellator really quickly, if that's okay with you. Quickly talk about it. Neiman Gracie versus Logan Storley. This is the main event of Bellator. We should mention this is the first 5-round Bellator main event. That's non-title fight. And Neiman Gracie's minus 165, Storley plus 135. I think it's a close fight. It's just weird because Logan Storley, he almost beat Yaroslav Amosov, and then he almost loses to Dante Shiro, who's like a nobody. So it's just really weird. He almost beats the best guy and then almost loses to the worst guy. It's really weird. I'm just not sure how good he is. Neiman Gracie's like pretty good. Pretty damn solid. I guess I have to lean towards Neiman Gracie. I mean, he's a Gracie. The grappling should kind of cancel each other out, and his striking looked improved in the last fight. But 5 rounds makes it interesting. I mean, who's going to get tired first, right? What do you think, Marcel? It's kind of a weird fight. What do you think?
Yeah, I gotta be honest, man. I don't have a really good read on this fight, man.
Yeah.
So my gut feeling, and this is, guys, don't pick because I say this because I haven't done any good research on it, but my gut feeling would go with Storley in this one. Yeah. But I'm not sure,
Yeah, I could go either way. The other fights on the main card, you got Andre Korozkov against Chance Rencounter. Chance Rencounter's underrated guy, man. He went 2-2 in the UFC, got cut. Great grappler.
Remember?
Go ahead.
Remember when he fought Nordiev and he was?
Dude, I was shocked by that fight. I couldn't believe they won that fight. And Nordiev was like on the rise. Now he's out of the UFC too. It's kind of weird. Anyways, Korozkov has got like I was looking at his record. It's like 18-4 or something in Bellator. He is so good. He should win, right? 2 or 3-time champion. Korozkov he wins, right?
But yeah. I'm kind of disappointed that the original co-main event between Korozkov and Mohamed Berkamov didn't happen because that would have been an amazing fight. But Berkamov always gets injured for some reason. Maybe this time is a visa issue. I have no idea, but I don't know.
Yeah, their main card fights: Anna Piccolotti against Georgi Karakhanyan, guys I've always liked. I mean, Piccolotti probably wins that fight. He's a minus 285 favorite. And then the last one would be Said Salma against Davion Franklin. Said Salma looked really good in his last fight, Marcel. Minus 145 is a cheap price for him, so I think it's favored to pass. Any thoughts quickly on those fights before we We'll talk about
That's
PFL really fast too. Go ahead.
It's still super funny to me that when I heard Said Soma talk, that he could talk in Dutch. I didn't even know that. He's from Suriname, actually. So, yeah, it's a good fight. Looking forward to it, man. Two heavyweights going at it. And Soma looked good against Minakov last time. So, yeah.
I see a guy saying he's going to sub and like the show. I'm glad to hear that, man. I mean, we're always trying to get new people. I mean, I feel like me and Marcel drop knowledge every week. You know, I mean, we do. I mean, I'm pretty confident saying that. We have a good show. So glad you're tuning in, buddy. Let's just do PFL really quickly, Marcel. 4 fights, guys. It's this Friday in Orlando. Josh Silveira against Mohamed Juma, and Silveira is a big favorite here, Marcel. I think he wins this fight. I think Josh Silveira was the guy the UFC should have signed. You know, I talked about yesterday, like they signed Fabio Charlante, not this guy. It doesn't really make sense to me. I think he wins. He is a big favorite here, minus 500. I think he wins for sure. And then another fight's interesting. Alexander Popik against Taylor Johnson, both former Contender Series guys, Marcel. Popik actually fought Jamal Hill, which is crazy, right? And he lost. And they're both fighting back-to-back nights a couple years later. Taylor Johnson's kind of had this up-and-down career. Pardon?
He fought Muniz, right?
Yeah, he fought Muniz and lost. I mean, it's not a bad loss.
No.
I don't know. This fight's weird, too. I mean, it's a tough one. Johnson's minus 225. I guess that, you know, I lean his way, but I don't know. Any thoughts quickly?
Difficult, man. I would probably lean more towards Taylor Johnson because I think Taylor Johnson is probably the better fighter. But I mean, Popek probably has an advantage in height and weight. Probably he's a bigger guy normally, you know.
Yeah, and then the other 2 fights: Bruce Soto against Paulo Fagans. I don't really know these guys, to be honest with you, but you know, Soto is minus 170. The other guy's undefeated, so maybe you take a look at the dog in that one. And then Simeon Powell against Carl Williams. I've heard really good things from Simeon Powell. My boy Trisanga Malata over in England, he was telling me this guy's really good. So I've heard good things. You know, this is not the kind of guy, again, it's 4-0. I wouldn't want to lay minus 300 in this dude, but I've heard good things he should win. You know, I look at this card, though. It looks chalky, right? Like, are all 4 favorites going to win? We'll see. But I feel good about Silveira. That's the one guy I feel really good about. He should absolutely win that fight. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. And we went over the time limit, but it's all good. I wanted to get that out of the way. But yeah, Marcel, a lot of fun. We broke down UFC, all 12 fights. We had a couple of picks that we agreed on with underdogs. A couple we went the other way on, but I love it. You know, it was good. Marcel, plug your stuff. Let's get out of here, guys.
Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, Eurosport.nl/mixed martial arts.
There you go. You guys can follow me on Twitter at MMAOB podcast, MMAOddsbreaker.com. It's on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all those places, guys. More the merrier. We love new people listening to the show. It's always good. Like the questions, like the back and forth. Also follow me over at MyMMAnews.com where I get some like news pieces, and then bookies.com. It's my full-time job. So yeah, we'll be back on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll be recapping this card, and then next we'll break down the next UFC card. It never ends, Marcel. Never ends. Have a great week, guys. Enjoy the fights. Make some money. Talk to you soon. Peace.